Hi, Hans Westerman here, and we are going to continue this series of introductions, introducing users to Blender 3D software and different vital tools as far as getting around and creating objects. So this time we are going to introduce reference images and how they can be used as guides to build an object. So let's get to it. First thing we want to do is I'm going to delete this object like this, as I usually do. Delete. And I'm actually, again, going to start out with a plane. You can just as well start out with a cube as well if you would want. But for me, I think that I just want to go ahead and start out with a plane. So I'm going to add mesh plane like this, and from there I am now going to go to the edit mode by hitting tab, the number 3 for planes, then the tilde, view selected so it's a little bit closer, and what I want to do is a subdivision. So I'm going to right click, subdivide, and I am going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 different additional edge loops for what it is that I want to do. And we're just going to leave it at that for right now. This is just to sort of speed things up. Next, what I'm going to do is go ahead and hide this. We're going to bring in some images to use as references to build the actual object. In this case, it's going to be a chair. So let's do it like this. We're going to start out, first of all, by going to the front view, tilde, front, and from the add drop-down menu, once again, we're going to add, actually from the object mode, we're going to go and add an image reference, background and mesh plane we're not going to worry about, but these are reference images that we want to work with. So I click on reference, and from there it's going to bring me to my folder structures. I have a folder structure which is under Blender, and I've put these images under source images, which I would be using for things like this and textures later on and so forth and so on. So I'm going to start out with a chair from the front. Click on this empty image. I can scroll back by using my middle mouse wheel. Hold down my middle mouse button, and now you can see that I have one image which is in there. Now I'm going to bring a side view image, hit the tilde sign, go to the left view this time, and I'm going to once again go to add image reference, this time from the side. There we go. Let's see if we can find this right here. Open. Now you can see that we have that there. So now when I scroll around, you can see I have the front view and I have the side view. Let's now open up and make the plane once again visible. So here we have the images. There's the plane in the middle. So to do this as a reference and to work like this could be a little bit difficult. So what I'm going to do is first click on the front view image, go to move, pull on the z-axis, and do the same thing here on the side view, and I'm going to push on the x-axis to get it out of the way. So now when I go to the side view or the front view, these images aren't going to obstruct the object that I'm building up. Now I know that my starting point is going to be actually this surface right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out first of all by, oh, we've already done a subdivision, but we're going to do like a scale at this time. I want to add some thickness to this plane. So under the object, or I should say the edit mode, if I hit tab and then I select, let's get back to this one more time, Control Z, we want to actually go again to the object mode. We are in the object mode. Select the object first. That is a given. Now, edit mode, select all of these polygons, and then we're going to add some thickness. But one step before we do that anyway, and I'm going to go ahead and hide the images once again, and right click, or I should say Z, wireframe, and I'm going to click on the Z axis from the top. Now, just like we did with the previous video introduction, where we're building a table, and we're going to set it up basically in the same way. So I'm going to start out by hitting the number 1, and then I'm going to select this line of vertices, hold down Shift, this line of vertices, and then go ahead and using the scale tool with the medium point, pull on this so I have an edge. I know that there's going to be like that, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. The next thing I'm going to do here is I am going to go to this one, which is right here, that, and then this one right here. And basically what I want to do is go down to what I guess is going to be the width of the table leg. The table, or I should say the chair positions where the legs are going to grow out from. Next, I'm going to go ahead and basically I would say leave this one alone. Yeah, maybe I'm going to move this one down here too. Same thing there. Shift and shift. Just about like that. And now we're going to do where the table legs are going to, or I should say the chair legs are going to grow out. So I'll do this one more time. Just about like that. And right now I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these ones in the center. I don't really need those at this point. So let's do like this. Hit the number 2 for the lines. And I'm going to select with Shift also these. I should say this one right here. Shift, this one right there. W, we can get rid of that. And then again, Shift, and then Shift, and then we're going to hit X, and we're going to dissolve, not delete, but dissolve the edges. All right, so this is what we have. I might just do a little bit more busy work here, because I think these are somewhat thick. And I'm going to go ahead and first of all make this a little bit less thick. And the same thing here as well. That one and this one, holding down Shift. And let's square that off just about like that. Okay. So next I'm going to go ahead and hit the tilde sign, or I should say Z, center to get rid of that. Z, make the solid once again, and I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, and I'm going to pull this up. I want to add a little bit of thickness to this before I bring in these images. So what I can do here is, under the edit mode, number 3, select all of the objects, all the polygons, or the faces, And I'm going to go ahead and hit W again, then E. So we're going to extrude this, make it a little bit thick. So right now when we look at this, it looks like everything is solid. But if we go to this drop-down menu here for the viewport shading and click on backface cull, you can see that we've extruded this inside out. One option would have been that we would have extruded in the other direction, that it would have been solid. But I'm thinking here this is an opportunity to show, if we go now to the faces, we're looking for normals, and if normals is not here, then we can go to mesh. That looks better. We can go to the normals, and what we're going to do is we're going to flip all the normals. So let's go ahead and select all of the polygons. I can do that by hitting, first of all, Z in wireframe. You can see that they're not all selected otherwise. And then I'm going to hit Z once again, solid, and I'm going to go to mesh, normals, and flip. So now when I look at this, you can see that it's solid. So this is where we want to be. At this point, I can go ahead and bring back these images. All right? And what I'm going to do now is, first of all, if I were to move this object, let's go to the object mode. Yeah, I think we're in good shape here, so we're just going to go ahead and stay here. I was looking at the point of origin, that it's someplace in a good place for moving things around, and it is. So let's go ahead again and hit the Tab key, back to the edit mode, and we're going to go now with the tilde sign to the right view, and we're going to move these polygons. That would be, once again, Z, wireframe. We can select all of them like this, and then we can move this over about like that. And I'm also going to expand this like this, just a bit, and then also here as well. Then if we go to the front view, tilde, front, and then we can do this now. Now, if you take a look at this chair, essentially we have like a shape which is longer in the front and shorter in the back. So if I go to the top view, tilde, top, then you can see on the back side here, if I were to hit the number 1, select these vertices, I can go ahead and bring these in just a tad like this. And then I think that we're going to be good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Z, back to solid, and let's go ahead and see what we got. So we're pretty much in good shape at this point. Now what I want to do is bring partially these legs and what's going to be a frame that the chair top is going to be sitting on by hitting the number 3, click once, W, so we're not doing anything odd that we don't want to have done to it. Shift and Control, Shift and Control, Shift and Control, and Shift, and then the letter E, and then we can bring this down about like that. And if you use this as a reference, you can see that we have it basically the same. We're going to make this chair top a little bit thinner in a minute, but we're not going to worry about that now. Now let's click once, shift twice, these 4 corners, just like that. And let's just go ahead again to the tilde sign, to the right side, and we're going to bring these with E down to about this length right here. So it's not perfect, but that's good enough. All right. So next, we're going to go to the and bring this, you see we have a bit of a tilt right here as well. So what I'm going to do is hit 1 and then Z for the wireframe, so I get all of these vertices that I want. And then again, move these back about like this. So I'm fine as far as like the difference between the image and this. This is just a general guide that I'm using this for. Before I do that, what I think I'm going to do now is I am going to, no, I'm fine. We're good on this at this point. Forget about that. All right, next, Z, solid. And we can go again with the middle mouse button. And we're going to go to 3. We have the back is going to be growing out of this. So it would be click once, shift, and twice. Go back to the side, right side, and it's going to be E. And we're right about there. I think it's fine. And now we can go down to shift, hold the shift and then the middle mouse button to bring it down, and then Z to the wireframe, and it's going to be the same thing here as well, that I want the vertices to be going back. I probably could have used those polygons that were there, but I'm going to do this as it is. So there we have this. And now we can see that this table, or I should say this chair, is starting to give us a look that we want. So Z back to solid, and yeah, we got some options here that we're going with here. All right, you can see right here also that we have 2 different sections that I think we're going to have to be working on, and just to make sure everything is even, we might have to rethink this just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all go to number 2 for wireframe for the edges, and what I'm going to do here is go to edge, and I'm going to create this edge right here. It's going to be loop, cut, and slide. So let's do this one first. It's going to be 1, and I'll click twice. Now we have that in position, which is fine. We'll do the same thing here. Edge, loop, cut, and slide. Click. And then we're going to go click one more time. And now we'll do this again. I'm going to hit W so I don't have that in there, because we want to have like a cutoff of that, and then one more. So we want to have a couple more things in here, and you'll see why we're going to do this in a minute. So we're going to start out first of all by going to, once again, edge, cut, and I want this to be even. That's why I'm only adding one at a time here. Same thing here, edge, loop, so, and then one more time, edge. And when you get involved with this, you're going to be finding quicker and quicker ways of doing this. So let's go to this one more time. Edge, cut, twice. Okay, so now I've got these going. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click Alt, select that one, Alt and Shift. I know these both are at the same level, so now I can go to Move and bring this up to about the top. And you can see that this has been changed a little bit. So what I can do, instead of working with the global direction, I can go instead down to normals. But before I do that, I'm going to hit Control Z. And then I'm going to go to normals like this. And now when I move it up, you're going to see it's going to be along the normal of the object. So there's one. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, Alt, and then Alt Shift, and move this one up. So it's about right there. But it looks like I have to do the same thing for each one, which is a little bit annoying. But I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway. So let's see what we have to do here. Global. This might be a little bit of a bug here. Normal. And see what happens. Looks like it's still there. But we can go ahead and just pull this thing back anyway. So I got this down like that. Like this. All right. Bring it down just a tad. Okay. So from here, let's just go ahead and see what actually is happening here. Middle mouse button. Yeah, okay. That's because this is flat at the top and so on. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually take these guys number 3, and it's going to be 1, Shift 2, and then we can do it like this. If I hadn't had put this into position, I probably could have gone straight up and everything would have lined up perfectly. But as long as we're here, I'm going to go ahead and fix this so that we can kind of continue to be consistent with what we're trying to do here. And it's going to be the same thing once again. I'm going to go to Alt. Oops. We want to go to number 2 once again. Alt. And then Alt. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. Control Z. It's great with Control Z. It's going to be Alt and Shift. Bring it down once again. Pull it up a little bit. There we go. And now we're in good shape. So what I want to do now is I want to build polygons across here first. But you can see, first of all, that it's a little bit thinner on the inside. So we're going to fix it so it's going to be a little bit more working out in that way. And I can do it by this way by hitting, first of all, the one side, which would be 3. Click on this one, and then Shift. Click on this one, W, and from this side, what we're going to do is we are going to select and extrude individual, just like this. And if I do that, you can see that now I have this like that. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. And from here, I can go to the scale tool, and on the y-axis, I'm going to pull this in a little bit, just about like that. And then I'm going to bring it down just a tad like this. And then I can move it back in on the X, so it's a little bit more flush with the geometry. About like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a little trick here where I'm going to actually, maybe just a little bit more, so it's a little more dramatic. There we go. We're going to go ahead and hit X, and we're going to delete these faces. All right, so now we have an opening on 2 sides. I'm going to use my number 2 for edges. Let's try this one more time. Number 2, hold down the Shift, actually Alt. Let's see what happens if I do there. Nothing. W, I have to get the right one first though. So let's go ahead and click on that once again, Alt. You can see that the opening, this loop here, was selected with the Alt. Same thing here. It would be Alt Shift. Now I have both selected. Now I can right click and I can use something which is called bridge edge loops. So I have two edge loops and you can see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to join these, but I can also decide the number of cuts, I believe, that I want to use here as well too. And let's see where that is. If it is number of cuts right here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll just stay at 3 at this point right now. And now we got this going. And I'm going to go ahead and hit 1, Z to the wireframe, select these in the middle, Z again, so I have the solid dot again. Now what I want to do is I want to use a soft selection, I guess is what you maybe can call it. If I activate that, you can see right here, smooth, a smooth selection. And if I use this tool now, and I'm going to go and push this in the, what would be normals, yeah, I think that that would be fine. I'm going to go ahead and pull on this, and you can see that there's a round circle. If I change this, this determines the amount of influence and fall off we have when we are going to move these in one or another direction. So Control Z one more time. Let's go ahead and put it in the y-axis. There we go. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and bend it just a little bit bigger. There you go. There we are. Okay, it's a little bit off here, but to demonstrate the principles, I think that's okay. All right, so we've got that going for us. And obviously we can do the same thing for the other areas that we have here as well. And I'm not going to go into that, but that's basically how you can use these guys as a guide in order to change things on this so that it becomes more like the object that it's supposed to be. So, yeah, that would be it.